Greetings, Inquisitor. I'm glad you found this holocron. This is the week 58 update for my Darth Loquitur account. For any who aren't familiar, I go through this account's progress every week. We talk about what characters we've worked on, stars, gear upgrades, the current stats for the account, all the plans for the future going forward. This time we're going to talk a lot about the upcoming changes to GAC and how that's going to affect my account building plan. So with that in mind, let's get into it and let's see what happened with the account this week. We said we were going to take General Grievous to Relic 13, and we are going to do that. And I'm not going to put a whole bunch of levels onto his Relic. I'm going to leave him at Relic 0. That was originally the plan. That doesn't have to be the plan anymore. You won't have to manage galactic power. But I do want to keep it low for my initial placement, so I want to go ahead and get placed as low as I can. Try to encourage a few of those early wins. Here we take 5s to gear 12, and he's got 5 green pluses lit up. And it's pretty tempting to start locking stuff down on him and just, finish him out. Of course, we're building him because we're going to build a clone team eventually, and we're using his Umbran Starfighter now as part of our fleet with the Negotiator. Here we're going to Kenobi's Journey Guide. We're going to take a look. Jango Fett's probably going to be the best next target to get to gear 13, so we're going to go ahead and put him on the favorites and start working on him. Shakti, we get to 7 stars, so we've finished collecting shards for her out of that fleet node. That's nice to have her finished. Frees us up to farm some other stuff in fleet. So with that in mind, looking at this journey, we do have Qui Gon Jinn here unactivated. We don't quite have him to 7 stars yet, but we're going to go ahead, pop him up, get him going, upgrade his skills, and probably will be the first Omicron for the Darth Loquitur account. And it just seems like a very good addition for Grand Arena. And of course, we're very interested in placing as well as we can in Grand Arena. So we're looking at that being the first Omicron, but 19 out of 20, boys. So it's just not quite enough to get that done quite yet. So once we earn that one more piece of Omicron currency, then we'll go ahead and get him going. We're able to take the Magna Guard up another gear tier. And then Cad Bane, we take a look at him, and we get 1, 2, 3 gear upgrades all the way to gear 11. That's nice. He'll fill out our bounty hunter team and be stronger than the little Zamwasel that we had sitting in there. Now we do get Kyle Katarn going, and I was thinking about getting Kyle Katarn set up for the Mon Mothma team. He's pretty effective, but I really can't get his stars up, and even if I gear him up, I'm not sure how effective he's going to be. So I did take a pause on that, and I kind of said, all right, let's chill out on Kyle Katarn for now. Maybe we'll build him up later. If we get Mon Mothma to Relic, then it will start to make more sense to try to stick maybe a lower level character in there and try to make that work. So as of week 58, the galactic power is up to 2.17 million, added 50,000 more galactic power this week. Relics, we have 21 now with Grievous. Zetas, we have 33 because we added that one to Qui Gon Jinn, so it went up by 1. In the squad arena, we're still getting top 50 with the Sith Eternal Emperor. I don't have my armor done yet, so we pretty much just, go for top 50 placement, and we're satisfied with that. Getting the alt didn't really help us get that much higher in placement, but it's okay. We'll eventually get there where we can start beating some of these SLKRs. Of course, by then I don't know if it's even going to be relevant because, who knows what Squad Arena is going to look like and how critical that's going to be going forward. So in Fleet Arena, we're getting top 5 with the Negotiator, and Jango is my project for week 61. Now, I've been doing a 2-week cycle on Relics, and honestly, I think I could probably get Jango done in 2 weeks, but I'm going to start increasing the Relic levels on these characters as I get them to gear 13. And we have an awful lot of those Cinar Hollow projectors that we need to farm in order to start getting some of the higher level relic materials going. So I am going to take a little less focus on getting the actual Gear 13 locked in and a little more focus on farming up some of those materials that I'm going to need to actually build the relic levels onto these characters. So 3-week cycle this time around, I'm thinking. For energy, we're still farming 6 nodes, Vulture, Hyena, BTLB, TIE Bomber, the Armorer, Bo-Katan. Of course, that TIE Bomber is now part of the free calendar that you can get, so I picked that calendar. I'll be able to pick up a bunch of shards there and help me get that thing to 7 stars, so that's fantastic. In Fleet, we've got Shakti built. We're going to work on the B1. We're also going to work on the Gauntlet Starfighter a little bit. And we may go back to farming that Rebel Y-Wing that's on the same node as Grief Karga. Now, we did build Grief Karga, so we've got quite a few shards for that Y-Wing already started. But, yeah, if we want to use that as a ship someday, we could finish that out. So I may go up to 3 farms on Fleet. We'll see. Cantina, we're just doing signal data now. On mods, we're doing speed. Refreshes, 3 mod, energy, and Fleet. And then Cantina, I'm refreshing just on Cantina Energy Day and every Energy Day. And that's working out pretty well for me. Squad Arena Store, Prestige, Fleet Store, Zetas, and everything else is feeding the Shard Shop. So what are we going to change with our account building for the new GAC? And honestly, not much. I feel like the way that I work on stuff and build it is pretty efficient and effective. It doesn't spread my resources too thin. I pick the characters that I want to work on, and I have 3 tiers that I'm always working on, like a character that's going to Relic level, a couple characters that we're building up in between as favorites, and then some characters that we're collecting shards on. So there's kind of like the shard farm phase, then the gearing phase, and then the gear 13 phase. And I'm always doing some of each, and it just feels like that's an effective way to do it. So overall, we're not going to make too many changes. It will allow us, since we have to build Shakti for the journey for Jedi Master Kenobi, we might as well go ahead and make the clone team. We are working on 5s already for the Fleet. So we can Relic 5s. He's not part of the journey, but, we'll take a detour and Relic at least him. And Relic Shakti and get a clone team going. Mostly we'll use that on offense where we can control the matchups and use a little clone bomb team on offense. Qui Gon Jinn, will start developing him for the Jedi right away, so we'll try to focus gear for him and Shakti over the next couple weeks and make sure that they're the next ones to arrive at Gear 12. Then I have a kind of a question, because when I look at the rest of the JMK requirements, Magna Guard, yeah, fine. Watt, fine. There's a bunch of stuff in there that's good to work on. But I think I may actually take a little detour and Relic Mon Mothma and Queel somewhere there in the middle. When we were on the sea journey, we built 3 non-sea relics just to try to get other teams beefed up. And I think I may do 3 or 4 again. Mon Mothma and Queel are good characters. They can carry a team by themselves pretty much. And, Moff Gideon might be in there as well. I keep thinking that I want to get a higher score in the Rancor raid, and getting Moff Gideon up to Relic level would be good too. So I think I may kind of do a few other relics during the journey here and not just, focus completely on just JMK stuff. So we'll work on some of his guys to build teams, and then we'll kind of flip over a little bit. So for the new GAC, at Chromium, you need 4 fleets. And I feel like even with my account here at 2.1 million and with Chromium being at 3.4 now, relatively speaking, I feel like I could compete all the way up to that bracket. But if I get into Chromium, I'm going to struggle with the 4 fleets. Now, against a weaker player, if he doesn't have a Galactic Legend or teams that can beat my Galactic Legend, then I can just plop C down in front of the ships and use both of my good fleets for offense. But it really will limit my options on what else I can do if I want to get full clears and win. So I do want to build 4 fleets, but the thought that I keep having is someday I'm going to build Executor. Maybe I'll build the Finalizer if I decide to go for SLKR. I like the Finalizer fleet a lot. Most people who are fans have seen me use that fleet on my main account, and I can beat the Negotiators and Malevolence very reliably with the Finalizer, so I may build that fleet. So I know that there's another fleet down the road, and even if I wanted to build 4 fleets, I really don't want to build, 4 full fleets and then add the Executor on later as the 5th fleet. It doesn't seem that much value added. And again, it's not, you could say, well, in the new Grand Arena system, that galactic power doesn't matter, but it's about resources, right? So I don't want to put resources into fleets and then have a fleet that I'm not really using. So I really only want 3 good fleets. And, I've talked about this before in a prior video, but I was just kind of coming back to rehash it and think about it. And what I figured out that I can really do, Negotiator, yeah, we just need to get the BTLB in there so that we could free up the Hound's Tooth. And then with Malevolence, we can use all kinds of tanks, right? We'll use the Hyena Bomber, the Vulture Droid, the Hound's Tooth. We'll bring in that Rebel Y-Wing just as another pilotless ship where I can get a good ship without having to invest in the pilot. And we'll make the Malevolence just a fleet of tanks, That'll leave us Geos, and we can put those Geos with Home 1. And then we can build an Empire fleet under the Executrix and have 4 fully functional fleets. And the nice thing about this is, those pilotless ships, we're not going to be sad about building them like the Rebel Y-Wing. There's always a place where you can just stick another tank, so it's not bad to have that. And when I build my 4th real fleet, then the Geos just go in with Malevolence, and we can use that Sunfac as a starting ship and a Spy as a reinforcement like a normal Malevolence fleet would. So that's a way that I can build 4 fleets really out of 3 fleets and then save space for another big fleet later. But that does leave me needing an Empire fleet to go with the Executrix. TIE Fighter, I think I've built up to 5 stars or maybe even 6 stars for the events. The TIE Bomber we've got going, and people have heard me say before, I'm not that big of a fan of the TIE Advanced early game, but, we got to build a team, so we'll build the TIE Advanced. And this Gauntlet Starfighter is really a good starting ship for this Empire fleet, so we're going to work on the Gauntlet Starfighter as the 4th. And I don't know that we're going to work on the Emperor's Shuttle and a bunch of other stuff, too. I think we're just going to try to make a 4-man team. We could have the TIE Silencer, Kylo Ren's ship, as one of the reinforcements, something like that. So we can work on those things. We got to build Bo-Katan. And if we're going to build the Gauntlet, we'll get Gar Saxon and the Super Commando, and at least we can start working on a Mando team for Bo-Katan. Not necessarily anything great, but if we got to build them up as pilots anyway, at least they'll have a home, so we can do that. And then Vader's ship, of course, the thing that the thing that holds me back on that ship is it's so much galactic power. It's like almost 80,000 galactic power to finish that ship out. But once that's not as relevant anymore, then we can build Vader's ship and it won't hurt us too bad. So with that in mind, I did go into my fleet stuff this week, and I started to get all of that up and running. So we went in, we activated the Hyena Bomber. We got that at 4 stars now. And again, we're farming it up, but we're going to go ahead and get this going, because even at 4 stars already, it can be used with the Malevolence. It's not too bad, so we'll get that up and running at 4 stars. Then we got the Vulture Droid to unlock, and the Vulture Droid really, we do a reinforcement here. Normally you wouldn't do reinforcement on the Hyena Bomber, but at 4 stars, I'm probably going to have to bring it in as a reinforcement. So the Vulture Droid's pretty weak, so we just left it at level 1. And then we did get this BTLB Y-Wing going. We're still farming it. But now I just want to see where we're at on the stars and everything. So it's up to 4 stars, and we got 40 out of 60. So we got those ships up and running, just opened up and started to try to get this journey going. And then you saw on the farming chart that we're going to start farming that Gauntlet Starfighter. I'm not going to start farming the shards for Gar Saxon and Super Commando yet. Start looking for them out of the shops a little bit and start buying those when I can out of the shops. But other than that, we'll hold off on farming that for the moment until we get. I mean, the ship takes so long to farm; it's probably going to be 3 or 4 months before I would even have a functional Gauntlet Starfighter anyway. So I'll have patience on that one, and we'll work on those characters later when it's relevant for the ship. That's it for this week's update. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more videos like this in the future. Use your lightsaber to smash that like button on the way out if you could, please. That helps me. It helps the channel. And remember to join us on the Discord. The Discord has the link in the description for the video down below. You can click on that and join up with our server. There's a bunch of good people over there. Lots of fun conversations, a lot of question and answer, and everybody seems very willing to help out new players. So if you're new to the game, it's a great place to be. It's a great place to hang out and get answers to your questions. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next holocron.